Hey, good morning, guys. It's Sunday, October 30th, Halloween, and welcome to the first episode of Leaves 2021. You know, it's a strange season because my trees seem to have forgotten what season it is. Last year, by this time, the leaves were already completely turned yellow and red, and most of them had fell already, and I had started the cleanup. If you look back at Leaves 2020 episode 1, 2, and 3, episode 3, the leaves were almost all the way down, and we had a real warmer than usual weekend, so I got the Cyclone rake out and so on, and clean most of it up. But the trees have pretty much forgot what season it is. I mean, they're losing a little bit of leaves, but they've barely even changed. This one, this big maple right here, is starting to change just over the last couple of days. But the pine trees, they have not forgotten what season it is. I mean, look at this pine needle mess that I have to deal with every year, and I bitch and complain about it every year, and it's the same story. But it looked just like this last weekend, and when I mowed, I blew all the pine needles over into the median there, up next to the wood fence, and then at the end of the season, when they pretty much stop falling, I'll get the Cyclone rake out and I'll suck up about half of them. I don't suck them all up, but yeah, the pine trees, they haven't forgotten. But what a mess. What a pain in the you-know-what. But yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, we are one day away from November, and my trees are barely even changing colors. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that I'm not going to really get a lot of color this year. It's probably just going to, it's going to turn cold and they're just going to fall. This little tree right here has been about halfway to death all season. Right in the spring when it started warming up, I mean, it leafed out real nice, and then we had like 2 really cold days and it never recovered. I mean, it just has been looking about half dead all season. Yeah, I never did get around to my landscape work that I need to do this year. Just had too much work to do in my day job, and eventually I'll get to that. I got trim to fix and trim to paint, and I've got to redo this deck, and it's really looking pretty sad. But yeah, I mean, I'll have plenty of projects to do next year. I'm not going to tackle any of that stuff. But you can look at this this maple. I don't think it's got a single leaf that's changed. And I mean, it's barely even dropped a leaf. I think that's an oak tree. Again, like I've said the last couple of videos on my leaves, it won't lose all of its leaves until the new leaves come in, but it steadily loses leaves. Now this one's starting to turn a little bit, and it's lost a few leaves, but yeah, I'm afraid that it's going to turn cold, and I'm going to be picking up leaves with my parka on. Yeah, maybe we'll get lucky and have some warm weather this year. But I just wanted to give a quick little rundown of just the very beginning of Leaves 2021, and we'll see if we can attack it a little bit different this year. Kind of depending on the weather, but I really intend on trying to wait until everything's down. I mean, you could work on leaves, every weekend for a month, and basically I'm just going to wait and wait until it all comes down. But I'm going to have to mow today, I think. I'm going to wait until a little bit later, let it warm up. It's supposed to be in the mid-50s today. While I'm out here, let's just take a quick look at my dry well project that I did. It is really working perfectly, guys. The holding capacity is probably not quite enough, because on heavy rains, this will actually fill up completely, and you'll have a little bit of standing water here, but it does not last. It does what it is supposed to do, and it promotes absorption into the ground, which is exactly what it does. I mean, we've had many big heavy rains, and I've yet to have a complete front end flood like you see on the picture of one of my, when I first started this project, I showed you a picture of how this whole front yard was flooded, and that's yet to happen. Now, I still have a lot of landscape work to do, and my neighbors are probably pissed off at me because my yard looks like total you know what. But, you know, hey, I'll get it together. Probably not this year, but I think what I'm going to do, guys, is expand this dry well system a little bit, because I really need to make a gravel lot right here, extend my asphalt, and I'm going to make this gravel, because when I pull my my car trailer in, I don't really have enough room in the back to do a full turnaround without it being a real pain. So what I do is I'll pull up this way, and I'll actually pull the truck off the driveway, and then I'll back my car hauler all the way back down the driveway. So I'm going to turn this into an extended gravel driveway, and I'm going to probably bring the gravel out to about here. So since I'm going to be digging that up anyway, and this would probably be next year, I'm going to actually make that gravel driveway an extension of my dry well system, and actually put in a drain man style leaching field under the driveway. So I think, you know, even though my system works really well, I think if we had 2 or 3 days straight of heavy rain, I'd still have a flood. So I'm going to expand the holding capacity, and that's a project for next year. But, you know, I definitely need to do some landscaping, and I think I'm going to end up just bringing in some sod next year. I'm not going to mess with it at all this year. But hopefully my neighbors will hang in there and not be too upset with me. Eventually I'll get this looking pretty good. All right, guys. Well, that's just a little intro of what's to come for Leaves 2021. And have a great Halloween. We'll see you on the next video.